Which woman you're monitoring my destiny? 80!
My son, I am not a witch. Na village mentality they worry you.
Every witches and wizard in this compound must
The day
die.
Kofi entered the city, even the birds were confused because his excitement was louder than traffic horns and church speakers combined. He carried one small bag but behaved like a visiting president, walking with chest forward, nodding at buildings as if they greeted him personally today. Buses and Okadas rushed past, and Kofi whispered, "This city must calm down because I, honorable village representative, have finally arrived to supervise." He promised himself he would behave civilized, modern, international, the kind of man who says hello with small voice, not with his usual village volume. But before self-control could settle, greeting spirit from his ancestors grabbed him and he started saluting every passerby like town crier paired with pounded yam. "Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, madam. Good evening, children. Good midnight in advance." Kofi sprayed greetings the way politicians spray promises during campaign season, endlessly. People stared with city eyes. That look meaning, who invited this happiness? Some ignored him, some smiled nervously. One dog even wagged tail respectfully. Kofi did not mind. In the village, greeting is like Wi-Fi. It connects everybody. Whether you ask for connection or not, connection will find you. He greeted a man selling phone cases. The man blinked twice, checking maybe Kofi wanted loan, then nodded slowly like someone suspicious. Another woman refused to answer, simply raised eyebrows high enough to touch heaven, walked away with speed of gossip, leaving Kofi standing like abandoned microphone. Still, my people, our brother continued because stubborn greeting is inside his bloodstream, possibly mixed with fufu and palm oil, flowing confidently through every vein. He even greeted traffic light, waving like a long-lost uncle. When it turned green, he thanked it seriously, promising to behave well on the road henceforth. Taxi drivers laughed, shouting, "This your joy needs license." Hawkers giggled, and a small boy saluted back like soldier, happy to finally meet greeting champion. Inside his heart, Kofi was bragging. Yes, the city will change today. They will remember the day a village ambassador arrived with premium courtesy package. But destiny, that playful comedian, was only stretching, waiting patiently to misbehave later, because this was just the welcome ceremony, the appetizer of embarrassment ahead. For now, our Kofi smiled confidently at the noisy town, believing he had conquered civilization already, unaware the city was sharpening trouble especially for him. By the next morning, Kofi woke like a town crier sponsored by happiness, determined to greet anything breathing, moving, blinking. He stepped outside proudly, chest lifted like that of a military man, shouting good morning with confidence, frightening birds. The landlord, Mr. Okon, smiled proudly like he discovered free electricity, nodding because to him, greeting is rent payment in emotional currency. Auntie Sade watched suspiciously, whispering inside her mind that nobody greets this much unless they just escaped village life. Kofi did not care. He greeted cats, dogs, children, and one old man sitting in his balcony, minding his business. A little child waved shyly, happiness exploding all over Kofi, while another child asked if Kofi worked for government greetings department. Some neighbors hurried past him, faces carrying city stress, but Kofi chased after them, making sure they responded to his greetings. One man even removed earphones dramatically, shocked by greeting overdose, looked around checking cameras, thinking prank show selected him today. Kofi bowed slightly like respected ambassador, saying, "My brother, relax. Greeting reduces hypertension. It is national therapy. Accept joy today." A quiet woman finally answered, "Small good morning," using teaspoon voice, and Kofi celebrated it like scholarship, nearly announcing ceremony. Inside, he felt powerful, like Minister of Greetings inaugurated by ancestors, convinced kindness could fix potholes and electricity problems nationwide. But city life is stubborn. People looked him up and down suspiciously, wondering what this stranger wanted. Another neighbor hissed politely, which is insult but with manners, and Kofi smiled like Forgiveness Factory, refusing to reduce his politeness. Mr. Okon clapped proudly, announcing this is how human beings should behave, not like silent statues paying rent without emotions. Kofi greeted again, louder, like morning devotion leader, telling everyone, may your hustle succeed, may your phone never fall face down. At one point, Breeze joined greeting ministry, waving clothes on lines majestically, while Kofi believed heaven was supporting his social mission. Until Sade finally approached, pretending casual conversation, truly investigating, asking Kofi whether he was politician campaigning spiritually before elections approach. Kofi laughed proudly and declared, no, I am just trained, village edition, with unlimited subscription to respect and loud greetings. The city softened slowly, neighbors smiling little by little, realizing his madness was actually kindness wrapped inside village wrapper. And so, Kofi continued fearlessly, greeting sunrise, greeting sunset, greeting problems ahead, unaware bigger embarrassment was cheerfully marching toward him. Evening arrived proudly, and darkness settled like uninvited landlord, when suddenly the entire compound sighed helplessly as electricity disappeared again. Kofi stared at the bulb like broken promise, shook his head dramatically, and preaching patience as if he controlled power. Children groaned, adults hissed, somebody blamed government, and silence swallowed the compound. But my people, destiny loves comedy, because without warning, the light returned boldly, shining like miracle crusade. Kofi screamed, "Up NEPA!" with thunderous joy, voice climbing rooftops, waking sleeping neighbors, causing them to lose sleep that night. Neighbors peeped through windows, shocked by happiness explosion, while Kofi ran outside like athlete representing Africa in shouting competition. He lifted hands toward the bulb like grateful prophet, promising never to insult electricity again, even though electricity insults everybody. Mr. Ukon joined him carefully, smiling like retired dancer, shouting small "Up NEPA!" pretending maturity while secretly enjoying childish celebration. Auntie Sade folded arms dramatically, recording everything mentally for gossip committee while trying not to laugh too loudly. Kofi began motivational speech about light being hope, progress, destiny, future, and spiritual evidence that God still remembers this compound. Children danced behind him like backup singers, while adults clapped gently, caught between embarrassment and enjoyment of joyful madness. One man whispered maybe Kofi was generator in human body, because whenever power returns, his voice arrives quicker than electricity. Kofi even thanked the electric company, though they could not hear him, promising to behave and stop shouting at them. The light flickered slightly, like in horror movies, and everybody panicked. But Kofi pointed fingers seriously, warning it never misbehave again. Power obeyed temporarily, shining quietly, while Kofi walked around proudly like security guard hired to protect brightness personally. Eventually, laughter filled the compound, neighbors greeting each other freely, because Kofi's madness reminded everyone that joy can be contagious always. And so, the city watched quietly, realizing this strange villager celebrated electricity like wedding, and honestly, happiness felt refreshing. But my people, remember, comedy is patient, because while Kofi celebrated victory, life was secretly preparing another round of embarrassment. Next, trouble entered peacefully, like visitor with slippers, because hunger arrived and dragged Kofi straight into another unforgettable city experience. His friend Tunde invited him to eat outside, expecting civilized restaurant manners, no village drama, calm chewing and sophisticated smiling. Kofi agreed proudly, chest high like he owned the place, walking like chairman of food affairs appointed by ancestral council. When food arrived, it looked like festival on plates. Rice shining, fried chicken, stew smelling so nice, delicious and appetizing. They ate happily until Tunde casually called the waiter to dispose the leftover food in the dustbin. My people, Kofi nearly screamed, heart jumping out like goat escaping rope, because in his village, food never wastes. He grabbed the plate heroically, eyes wide, shouting, "Wait, destiny is still inside this rice. Let us respect blessings properly." People stared silently. Folks paused mid-air. Even restaurant fans slowed down small, watching this emotional food rescue mission happening publicly. Tunde covered face, whispering, "Brother, behave." But Kofi packed every grain like gold mine, wrapping the rice with nylon very carefully. He lectured the entire restaurant, explaining food is life. Ancestors monitor plates. Whoever wastes swallowable blessing invites unfortunate hunger punishment tomorrow. One waiter laughed quietly, another smiled hard, pretending professionalism while enjoying free comedy show sponsored by Kofi's stubborn village conscience. Finally, they left, and Kofi carried leftover proudly like newborn, promising refrigerator special protection and honorable tomorrow reheating without failure. On street, 3 children pointed happily, calling him food guardian angel, while Tunde wished invisibility so embarrassment could pass peacefully. Kofi ignored shame because hunger respects nobody and leftovers are loyal friends, never betraying you like electricity sometimes does here. Reaching home, he greeted the fridge like elder, placed the food gently inside, and promised emotional reunion very soon. He sat proudly, believing he saved national economy by preventing waste, chest rising like hero returning from battlefield that evening. Meanwhile, Tunde sent voice note laughing uncontrollably, telling friends that he just witnessed traditional food protection ceremony disguised as lunch today. The story traveled quickly, joining gossip clouds above the neighborhood, making Kofi low-key famous as leftover president of that area. But our brother felt no regret, because in his heart, he saved destiny from dustbin, and destiny must appreciate him. He smiled confidently, unaware another bigger confusion was approaching gently, waiting to embarrass him like a comedian with fresh script tomorrow. Morning arrived proudly, carrying mischief like hand luggage, and technology decided to test Kofi's village spirit with unexpected modern witchcraft. Tunde visited smiling like lecturer, announcing, "Today we upgrade you, join civilization immediately, and stop behaving like suspicious forest messenger." He brought a smart speaker, sitting confidently like shrine, and said simply, "Greet it, talk to it, it obeys voice." Kofi looked suspiciously, eyes calculating escape routes, wondering why ordinary bugs understood language when some neighbors still misunderstand greetings today. Tunde said, "Talk," and Kofi whispered, "Hello," like scared goat, nearly apologizing for disturbing technology. The speaker answered confidently, voice appearing from nowhere, and Kofi jumped like fried plantain inside hot oil, screaming. He grabbed his chest dramatically, asking whether ancestors approved such machine, because conversation without human face looked like upgraded witchcraft. Tunde laughed till his ribs threatened resignation, telling him, "Relax, it is just artificial intelligence, not village witches looking for sacrifices." But Kofi dialed on Kwame immediately, reporting dangerous talking speaker, begging for emergency spiritual advice before the speaker takes his destiny. Uncle Kwame coughed wisdom and declared, "Keep distance. That device is spirit landlord, listening, recording, and calculating your every move." Immediately, courage evaporated like cheap perfume, and Kofi started addressing the speaker respectfully, calling it "sir," promising good behavior forever. He refused to use ATM later, claiming the machine swallowed destinies and gives receipts, preferring human cashier who is visible to him. Even phone applications frightened him. He believed every download opened spiritual window, allowing invisible administrators to monitor his breathing daily. Tunde attempted teaching online banking, but Kofi crossed himself culturally, saying, if money disappears inside air, who do we hold when we can't find it? He declared confidently that technology was small witchcraft wearing suits, smiling politely while rearranging human future without asking permission first. Meanwhile, neighbors heard rumors, whispering that new tenant respected electricity loudly but feared talking artificial intelligence. Auntie Sade pretended concern, actually enjoyed drama, asking politely whether he needed prayers or deliverance this week. Kofi nodded seriously, saying, let us combine both, because prevention is cheaper than repairing destiny after technology finishes with it. Finally, Tunde surrendered, promising slower lessons, while Kofi prayed silently that machines remember he is a harmless villager with manners always. And so, technology gained new enemy. Kofi continued life suspiciously, unaware the city still prepared fresher embarrassment tomorrow again. By evening, Kofi's village instincts reached maximum level. Eyes sharp like eagle, spotting disguised spirits in every dark corner. He noticed an old neighbor staring quietly and immediately concluded she was a witch sent to monitor his city behavior carefully. Children played near his door laughing, but Kofi suspected secret initiation, whispering, these little ones are scouts reporting to Witch Queen today. Auntie Sade sneezed loudly outside, and Kofi jumped backward like frog attacked by invisible snake, thinking it's a spiritual warning. He sprinkled salt at every corner of his compound, muttering protective chants learned from village elders and his uncle Kwame. At night, he slept with one eye open, one leg ready to kick, believing dreams were portals for magic spies. He confronted the old woman boldly, holding broom like sword, demanding explanation for her evil intentions in his sacred space. She blinked slowly, puzzled, saying she only needed help carrying groceries from market, unaware she was facing a village champion. Kofi gasped loudly, heart racing, muttering apologies while still holding broom like shield, unsure whether to help her or not. Neighbors peeked, whispering about comedy show playing live, while little kids giggled like they were part of a secret audience. He blamed Tunde, saying, see what city friendship brings. People walking freely, hiding magical powers, planning attacks with fruit baskets. Even Mr. Okon chuckled quietly, shaking head, acknowledging that some village paranoia never truly leaves, especially when city life feels suspicious. Kofi spent hours inspecting every object, television, fridge, chair, even broom, questioning whether each hid spying spirit or city curse. He refused to open doors after dark, walking backward carefully, sprinkling salt trails as protective barrier against mysterious invisible enemies. Auntie Sade finally stepped in, offering advice politely, telling him maybe he's overreacting, city life isn't full of witches. But Kofi ignored calmly, saying knowledge is armor, better safe than spiritually cooked. Never underestimate small glances and quiet footsteps nearby. Morning arrived, neighbors relieved, Kofi exhausted from night-long vigilance, still suspecting invisible network of surveillance, spiritual espionage, and small children reporting activity. He continued cautious greetings, prayers, protective rituals, treating city like jungle village with modern technology. By now, everyone knew Kofi had fully embraced paranoid village mood, turning normal street into suspicious zone. He smiled proudly, thinking, yes, if city wants entertainment, let it watch me, ancestral warrior blending ancient caution with modern chaos. Morning sunlight barely touched Kofi's window where Mama Bina called, voice sharp and loud like mortar pounding yam in ancestral rhythm. Don't forget to bathe with salt, she shouted, and never trust food from strangers. They might be cursed spiritually. Kofi groaned, covering his ears, but secretly thrilled, because his mother's calls reminded him he had not truly escaped village supervision yet. Uncle Kwame joined the conversation, coughing seriously, warning, if the light shines too much, reduce it. Brightness attracts demons to your doorstep, my son. Kofi wrote everything down like diligent student, nodding seriously, feeling overwhelmed but proud he was under proper village mentorship even in town. Tunde laughed quietly nearby, recording voice notes, sending them to friends, captioned, "City boy, scared of electric lights and polite old women." Even Mr. Okon smiled knowingly, patting Kofi's shoulder, saying, "Village calls are always good, but city life requires patience and small resilience." Auntie Sade entered dramatically, pretending to be casual, but mentally analyzing every word, whispering she might start a comedy thread online. Kofi followed advice meticulously, sprinkling salt, avoiding suspicious eyes, and still greeting every passerby loudly enough to scare off birds in nearby trees. The speaker in his room remained a suspicious device, but Kofi addressed it politely, hoping it could join Village Guidance Network without causing trouble. He even started labeling objects: dangerous chair, possibly cursed; friendly lamp, ancestral ally; fridge, loyal warrior of leftover rice. The children in the compound giggled at his seriousness, plotting secretly to prank him, sprinkling tiny trails of flour in predictable patterns carefully. Kofi noticed immediately, shaking his head, whispering, "No, my destiny must not be tampered with." He started chanting protective incantations. By evening, he had performed multiple protective rituals, re-greeted neighbors, and blessed all food items, whispering prayers like radio DJ narrating city a story. Tunde gave up trying to teach him modern convenience, realizing village mindset traveled with Kofi like stubborn luggage, refusing flight cancellation politely. Mama Abina called again, asking if he remembered to respect water, observe sunrise, and avoid gossip, adding dramatic sighs as if distance increased danger. Kofi nodded seriously, promising phone conversation reports, mentally preparing to live like village chief inside city apartment compound with modern mischief everywhere. Auntie Sade laughed silently, realizing she could document endless content while Kofi performed village traditions for unsuspecting urban neighbors, politely observing chaos. By nightfall, Kofi finally sat down, tired but proud, convinced village guidance prevented disaster, technology, and witches from overrunning him completely tonight. He smiled, thinking, I didn't just move to the city, I moved with my entire village inside me, and that's a powerful upgrade. Neighbors, secretly amused, whispered admiration, wondering whether Kofi was crazy, genius, or both, as city slowly learned to respect his ancestral energy.
Kofi walked proudly, chest puffed like drum, realizing fully that his village mindset had traveled with him, refusing to take vacation in the city today. He greeted neighbors moderately, not too loud, not too soft, blending carefully, like chef mixing village spices with city ingredients politely today. Still, he shouted, "Up NEPA!" whenever light returned, celebrating electricity like personal festival, earning confused but amused smiles from every observer nearby. He refused to waste food, honoring leftovers like sacred treasure, storing rice, beans, and stew carefully, pretending fridge was ancestral vault for goodies. Technology remained suspicious, but Kofi treated smart devices politely, bowing occasionally, whispering ancestral greetings, hoping Alexa or speaker respected village protocol. Children in compound giggled endlessly, sprinkling harmless flower pranks, while Kofi carefully avoided them, convinced they were spies turned playful allies. Mama Bena called, reminding, never forget village guardian's son, respect salt, fire, and gossip cautiously. Kofi laughed proudly, knowing wisdom traveled faster than any Uber taxi. Uncle Kwame advised, balance city and village, my boy. Let your roots guide you, but don't trip over modern accessories. Kofi smiled, realizing he didn't need to hide village habits. There were secret superpowers making him uniquely strong, funny, and respected quietly by his neighbors. Mr. Okon clapped lightly, telling others, "See, village boy has survived city life, teaching lessons without violence." Auntie Sade recorded quietly, laughing silently, knowing her social media channel gained gold content thanks to Kofi's proud village behavior. Even the mysterious old woman waved, smiling kindly, realizing Kofi no longer suspected her of witchcraft, only respecting her as an elderly neighbor. Kofi realized truth. City changed him, but village remained alive, cheering in his heart, shouting advice, guarding his destiny like invisible ancestral committee. He continued sprinkling salt, bowing to lights, finishing leftovers, greeting everybody moderately, laughing at small mischief, proudly living city life through village manual. The neighbors, slowly joining his chaos, shouted "Up NEPA" together, creating small festival inside ordinary compound, blending modern life with ancestral joy. Children danced, adults smiled quietly. Even Tunde surrendered fully, realizing Kofi taught survival using ancient village humor and exaggerated caution. Kofi sat on doorstep proudly, eating leftovers, greeting passerby, bowing to lights, whispering prayers to devices, embracing village life inside city. He chuckled finally. "Yes, I left the village, but the village never left me. And maybe, just maybe, city life is better this way." The city had adapted slowly, learning laughter, greetings, caution, and joy, while Kofi became legend quietly, respected secretly, loved openly, city boy with village manual firmly intact. And so, my people, let this story remind everyone, you can leave home, but some habits, memories, and funny madness follows you politely, permanently, joyfully, forever.